Welcome to the WealthWise Show, where financial success meets informed decisions. I'm your host, the Wise Investor, and I'm here to guide you through the fascinating world of finance and help you to make wise choices. Join us as we unravel the secrets of smart investing, effective money management strategies, and the different realms of financial education. Remember, the information provided on this podcast is for informational purposes only and educational purposes only. Always consult a financial professional before making any major financial decisions. Now let's start the show. Thank you guys for joining me on another episode. I appreciate you coming back to listen to me speak. In today's episode, I wanted to delve back into my retirement talk because, as a lot of you guys know, I am a fiduciary advisor, or financial advisor, fiduciary, blah, blah, blah. And I do specialize in helping state employees with their retirement. In particular, here in my state, I help a lot of people who, they have 403Bs, 457s, they might have they don't have 401k, but they do have other things. And some of these state employees have their own businesses where they actually do have employees that they provide 401ks for, private businesses. So today I want to discuss a little bit about the differences between a 401k and a IRA. Now, you might say, well, there's really not much of a difference. You may want to take a look again, because there are some significant differences in a 401k and an IRA, and depending on if you're self-employed, depending on if it's employer sponsored, things like that. There's some huge differences. So pretty much a 401k is typically a employer-sponsored retirement plan for their employees. And the point of it is, it's an incentive to help your employees to retire at a tax-deferred rate, meaning whatever money that they put in there, their employees won't be taxed on that money, and that can actually have some tax incentives when they do that. And when they retire, that money, when they withdraw it, then it's taxed. So that's what tax deferred mean, and typically that's what a 401k does. Now, a individual IRA or a IRA, I'm going to say IRA because it's just easier for me. It's the same thing, tax deferred. And with a 401k plan, usually, the employees contribute pre-tax dollars, and they can take some deductions from that. And sometimes, not all the times, but sometimes employers match contributions, and they usually have a percentage of how much they matches. And there are some withdrawal rules and tax implications. And you might say, well, you kind of sounded like, a IRA. Well, like I said, they are similar, but they can be completely different. Because one, 401ks, a individual person can't go get a 401k. Because it's a employer sponsored plan. So if you don't have an employer that offers a 401k, well, then you can't just go get one. But a IRA, they have the similar tax advantages like a 401k. Contributions can be deducted from your taxes up to a certain limit. They do have contribution limits. And, typically you can choose your own investments and things like that. The investment options are a lot more flexible. So even though it is similar to a 401k in the sense that you have tax benefits and things like that, it is different because it's more self-directed. You can go into any bank and open up a IRA. And when I say any bank, I mean, like, you can go to Chase or Bank of America and say, hey, can I open up an IRA? You can't do that with a 401k. You can't go to these banks and say, hey, can I open a 401k? They're going to ask for, hey, your employer offers that, and who do they have? And the key differences, and I know I said that word completely wrong. You got to excuse me. So the key differences in a 401k and an IRA is honestly the contribution limits, because a 401k, you can contribute higher typically than an IRA. The catch-up contributions. So sometimes a lot of people don't know that when you are over 50, the government gives you a catch-up provision when, let's say you just open up your IRA at 51, you've got to catch up. So you can usually contribute $1,000 more than the regular limit on those things. And, required minimum distributions, there are some key differences there. And I want to go into, the differences between a simple IRA and, the contribution differences between those things. So a simple IRA is an employer offered retirement plan. Now you probably getting really confused. I'm like, wait, what? You just said yes. But typically, a lot of times, simple IRAs are typically geared to employers who are smaller. So, your small businesses and things like that. And, when it comes down to retirement planning, there are tons of different things, different ways to mix and match to kind of help with retirement planning. So if you are a small employer or a large employer, you got like 5 employees or 5,000 employees, you can still offer them something to kind of help them with their retirement, because pensions are going away. There's not too many private companies that offer pensions. There are some public, states and, like where I live in the state of Florida, they do offer a pension, but not a lot of private companies offer pensions. So if, you want to offer your employees something, there's tons of things out there. So you got your 401ks, your simple IRAs and things like that. Now, when you are thinking like, hey, that sounds great, but why do, like, choosing between a 401k and an IRA? That's basically why I'm kind of making this episode, to just want to discuss the differences of the 401k and the IRA. But some people might have those questions like, okay, should I go with my 401k or my IRA? Well, there are some factors that you want to consider between the two. Mainly is, if, like me personally, if my employer is offering a match or they're also contributing to my 401k, but, with a 401k, a lot of times you are given a list of things to invest in. So let's say, your company who has your 401k, they give you a list of, like, say 5 different ETFs or something like that. And they say, hey, these are what you can pick from and we're going to invest it in for you. Now with the IRA, typically an IRA is self-directed, meaning you can make the choices of what you want to invest in. It's all on you. So if you want to put all your retirement money into Apple, you can do that. If you want to put it into some different ETFs, you can do that as well. So being, a little more savvy when it comes down to investment strategies, is ideal for someone who's going to do an IRA. But typically, if you have a fiduciary or financial advisor, they can, help with that self-direction. They can give you advice on, hey, this is something that may fit your needs and your goals and things like that. And 401ks, I'm not saying they can't do that, but you are limited than you are with an IRA. And the ideal is too, you can have both. That's something that a lot of people, either don't know or don't talk. And a lot of people do have both, but the people who don't know you can have both, yes, you can have both. So if you want to have a 401k because your employer matches it, and you can contribute up to 22,000. If you're 22 to be exact, 22,500. You can contribute that up into a 401k, and 30,000 if you're over 50. So you can contribute a healthy amount of your portion of your income to your 401k. But like I said, a lot of times it's not self-directed. I think all the time it's not self-directed. You're usually going to have someone picking. They give you a list of investments to pick from, but you really can't choose what's on that list essentially. But with a IRA, you can do up to 6,500 or 7,500 if you're over 50, and you can pick what you want. And one of the things why you may want to do both is that employer match. You might say, hey man, my employer, they're going to match up to a certain percentage of my contributions. That's extra money. So why not go ahead and, why not go ahead and do that? Why not go ahead and get that money from your employer? And you might want a IRA because you might have passions, like you might watch CNBC and you might have passions for certain companies or certain money managers and asset managers and things like that. Like, different ETFs is basically what I'm saying. And so as long as you keep in those limits, you can have both essentially. So you really don't have to choose, but understanding the differences between the two can help you make a better decision, because you might say, I might only can contribute $10,000 a year to all my retirement accounts. Okay. And I know if I contribute 5,000 to my 401k, my employer is going to match to a certain percentage. That's great. And then the other 5,000, I'm going to put in my IRA, and I'm going to self-direct that and, pick my own investments to invest in. You can mix and match. Like I said, there's tons of things out there to kind of help guide those who are looking to retire. But me personally, I like to tell my clients, hey, if your employer is going to have a match, why not contribute something to your 401k? If you don't like the investments that they got going on in there, still contribute something to get that match, and then, put something away for your IRA. That way you can, pick the investments that you want. And understand that, a 401k is not an IRA. So they're both retirement accounts, but they're two different types of accounts. So understand, for tax purposes, 401k is not an IRA. And you do run a risk of losing money in an IRA. And when I say you run the risk of losing money in an IRA, it's because you are self-directing it. If you have a 401k, typically it's going to be in some super safe stuff. It's going to grow pretty, it's not going to grow a lot compared to something self-directed. Because the money managers who are managing your 401k want to make sure you have money for retirement. So understand, if you go the IRA route, that you are responsible for those investments. And understand that. Now there is information on rolling over your 401k into your IRA, penalty free. You can do that if you leave your employer, or things like that. Are you retired? You can roll it over into your IRA, and understand that it is self-directed. So you're going to be making those choices. And if you have a fiduciary advisor, they can help you out with making those choices as well. So just a pretty short episode. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I do a lot of these episodes in batches, and I just came off of a great trip from California. I'm doing stuff with my business. I'm meeting new clients, onboarding clients. I'm doing a lot of stuff in my personal life that it takes up a lot of time. So that means, this episode might be short, the next episode might be short, because I'm doing these batches over again. I think the last batch, I did like over 10 episodes in like a week. And that's why I like to keep these episodes topical based. Not topical based, so I guess topical based. Not like, news driven, like, with the latest news in the markets, because it helps me maintain the quality. I can give you guys quality information that can hopefully help you out and impart wisdom. And at the same time, I'm not stuck trying to figure out what to do every week. So in conclusion, guys, I appreciate you guys listening to today's episode. I know it's a short one. I think I'm like 15 minutes in. After intro and outro might be like 17 minutes. But just understand, if you're trying to pick between a 401k and an IRA, it's okay to have both. They both have their ups, or they both have their pluses and minuses. Nothing's going to be perfect. Nothing's going to be 100%. But whatever is going to fit your needs and your goals in retirement, work on that. So if a 401k with the employer match fits your goals, why not contribute to that? If a IRA, because your employer doesn't fit the options that they give you for the 401k don't fit your goals, and the employer don't match or anything like that, and you feel like you can do better, then go with the IRA. If you make a crap ton of money and you just need to kind of put a bunch of money away to defer for taxes, then max out both. So there's tons of things, and I didn't really talk about the Roth IRA, because this is really, talking about, deferment, but just a little, I know it's a short episode. I'll give you a little snippet. You can do a Roth IRA as well. A Roth IRA, I'm pretty sure I talked about it plenty of times before. You fund that with after-tax dollars. So, you get your paycheck, taxes are already taken out, you put money in your Roth. And essentially the ideal is, the money that's in your Roth, if you invest that money and it grows, then at the end, when you withdraw the money, you don't pay taxes on it. That's the general ideal. But you can see, it's almost completely different from a 401k, because you're using pre-tax dollars to fund a 401k and not after tax. Now, there is a such thing as a Roth 401k, but that's a whole nother thing. And there's backdoor Roths, there's all sorts of things. But just know that that's why I didn't really talk about the Roth IRA. So if you have a fiduciary and you want to know, hey, he just said something about a backdoor or Roth, what does that mean? Well, actually, I think I have a episode on that. I don't know. I'm pretty sure there's an episode out there. So go back to my catalog, and I'm 109. Nope. I am 80% sure that I have an episode. I am 75% sure I have an episode on Roths and all that stuff. So I appreciate you guys listening. The next episode, I'm going to go ahead and give you a little preview, because I'm going to do it in a few seconds. It's going to be about 401ks. So next week, you're going to hear me talk about 401ks. So until next time, stay WealthWise. Investment advisory and financial planning services offered through Simplicity Wealth and SEC Registered Investment Advisor. Sub-advisory services are provided by Simplicity Solutions, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Any insurance, consulting, and education services offered through the WealthWise Show. The WealthWise Show is not affiliated with Simplicity Wealth and Simplicity Solutions.